Continuing to look at the plugin WordPress Simple PayPal shopping cart, let's actually implement it now on one of our products. We need to add a cart button here, and let's go and do that. So this was our shopping cart options page. Remember, it doesn't actually say Simple PayPal up here, just so you don't get confused. It does mention it down here, so we're going to see naming this plugin can sometimes be a bit of an issue. All right. Let's go to our post here where we've got our plain gray plate. We go in here and we're going to get rid of product button here because we don't need a product button to be entered down in here. We're going to do it through a shortcode. Remember, that's how it made use of that. Now, I recommend having a couple of pages open here in your browser for your shopping cart. Now, I recommend having a couple of admin screens open at one time. I actually do this a lot in WordPress, but this is a good example of where it's important. So I'm just going to copy this. I'm going to make a new tab here. Okay, so now I've got a second admin screen. I'm just going to drag this over to here. Okay, this just makes it easier to work with. So on one tab, I've got my post, and I go on my other tab to my settings, and I go to the shopping cart. Okay. So now I have my quick usage guide here beside me. So all I have to do is copy the shortcode out of here. That way you make sure you're using it properly each time. I'm going to replace product button here with this. And there's the instructions there, product name. So we're going to call this the plain gray plate. Okay. Then we put our price in here. We don't put any symbol or anything. And we're going to make this one $22, let's say. Now you're going to notice if we look over here at this shortcode uses equal signs and quotation marks to separate the different attributes. The one thing here is they use a different system. They use the colons. So you have to make sure you're following exactly the way they do it. And again, the usage guide has it right here for you if you're ever confused about how to do it. Make sure you follow that. If you don't, it's going to cause problems. Okay, so our price, our name, let's update. And now when we go back over to here and we refresh, we're going to see there's now an add to cart button there. Now, we do have to change our price. That's one thing I forgot to do, by the way. Remember, I put a price in here of $22. Product price in our custom fields here is separate from that. So I would need to make sure I change that so it matches it. Okay, let's update that. So that's a good one to be aware of when you're doing it this way. Only $22. Now add to cart. Now we've actually got to put our cart somewhere. Now we have two choices. We can put it on a separate page, or we can put it here in the sidebar. Let's start by putting it in a separate page. So again, we go back to here, and I'm going to add a new page, and then we're going to call this page Checkout. And all I have to do, if I go back, this is the advantage of having those two tabs open. Remember, I don't have to actually switch pages. I just go like this. I grab Show Shopping Cart. And I go to here. I'm in HTML mode, remember. I always find it handier to work in that, just so nothing gets broken. Show WP Shopping Cart, and hit Publish. So now we have a checkout page. Don't forget, it's not going to be on our menu until we add it to the menu. So let's quickly do that. And there's our checkout. I'm going to add to menu. All right, and I save my menu. So now when I'm back here and I refresh, there's our checkout, log store, and then the checkout. Okay, now if I go to the checkout, what have we got here? Well, there's nothing going on right now because we haven't checked out. We haven't added anything that we can check out with. So let's go back to our plate here, and we're going to add to cart. Now notice we're still on the same page here. Remember, there was a setting way back that I talked about here, and it said automatic redirection to checkout page. Let's do that. What's going to happen now, I'm just going to go back and grab my checkout page address. Here it is. checkout to. I plug that into here. So that's the URL for my checkout page. Let me go and update my options. Now watch what happens. Sorry, let me go over to here and I'll go back to our store and to our plates. There we go, and our hand-painted plates. There's our gray plate. Now if I add to cart, it will take me to the checkout page. And now we actually see the cart. There's going to be 2 in there because remember I already added 1. That's why it's a good idea when you're using a checkout page to have that return to cart. Remember this one right down here. Automatic redirection to checkout page. Because remember the first time when I added it to the cart, I can't be sure that it was actually added. By having us sent to the checkout page, I can look at it and see, oh yes, it did add it in there, it did update the price, everything's good. Now that's not an issue if we put it on the sidebar. And in another video, I'm going to talk about how to add the shopping cart to the sidebar, and we'll do some more talking about how that all works.